Yeah, I've been ready. Sorry.
You gotta eat seconds till it starts. Don't be a dick.
I'm
Calm
sorry.
down. No attitude, no bickering. We're working together. We're a team. You'll be fine. Drink something for Christ's sakes.
I'm all right.
All right, let's go.
Better.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, jackasses! You're back here with Tony.
Mike.
We're here today to wish you a happy Memorial Day. You and everyone out there, all the people serving overseas, all the people serving worldwide. Go ahead.
Thank you all you veterans for your service.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Raise a beer, raise a glass, crack open your beer. All right, raise a beer and raise a glass to you guys. Start this off, by saying I guess we're kind of. I don't think we're involved in a conflict right now in Syria and everything.
No.
But it could potentially happen. I'm hoping it doesn't. I'm sure there are a lot of guys who want to deploy and get over there and do something. I get that. Kind of wish that we wouldn't have to get involved in this kind of stuff, but it's the current state of things being who we got in office. So, to you and yours, to me and mine, cheers.
Bless you.
And on a little bit of a lighter note, how about we start off today with our current president of the United States, good old Joey. Okay, guys? Just give me 1 second. I need to make sure. Of course it doesn't turn on.
Senile incompetent Joe Biden.
Oh, my God. All right. Sorry, I had to make sure I was on here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at old Joe. Together, everybody.
Yeah, there's nothing creepy about that. He's a creepy old man, let's face it. It's just not.
I mean, current president of the United States is telling a 9-year-old she looks like she's 10 years older than she actually is.
It's just creepy.
I gotta say something. Trump may have been a bit of a crass human being with his opinions and comments and what he would say, but if he said something like this, the media would have a nonstop onslaught of attacks going towards him.
Oh my, yeah. Oh yes, they would. He'd be analyzed day and night. Is he a pedophile? Is he a It'd be a whole. They'd CNN would have panel after panel. It'd spend hours and hours on it.
And you get this guy doing this, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's just Joe." I'm like, I don't know what Joe's doing in his free time, but I don't want to know if that's the public. Him, that's who he is in public. I don't want to know who he is behind the scenes.
He is being inappropriate, senile Joe. That's who he is.
All right. Just gonna pause Joe for a second there. Just take 2 seconds to get over to our next thing, guys. Don't worry. Anyways, how are you guys doing out there? Hope your family's safe. I hope if you have anyone serving overseas that they're safe on base. Being able to telecommunicate with you guys even though they're far away. Just know that they love you. All right. Oh, okay. So let's go over and let's go to.
But can I explain it? But tell me.
I'm gonna let you take this one at the beginning here. So go ahead and explain to people what's going on.
The articles. A lot of you are probably aware what critical race theory is. Basically, it teaches you that the white race is evil and white people are racist just by your skin color. And that America is a racist country. America has had its problems in the past, but we're nowhere anywhere as racist as it was 60 years ago. We've come a long way. So a lot of parents in Virginia, by the way, critical race theory is being pushed by Black Lives Matter to be taught in schools all over the country. That includes middle schools, children as young as first grade. Public schools are not the place for any kind of indoctrination. And it's racist to teach anybody, to tell anybody that one race, because the skin color is racist. That's the definition of racism. So parents in Virginia don't want critical race theory taught in the schools anymore. All the people in the city council are for it. By the way, Loudoun County, Virginia, what is happening? Loudoun County, Virginia,
I'm going to go ahead and read the article.
is the wealthiest area in the country.
Right. So, parents in Loudoun County, a wealthy Virginia community just west of Washington, D.C., are sounding the alarm this week after receiving threats from an online group for criticizing critical race theory. Here's the thing. If you're going to go in and you want to read this quote from scholar, I'm going to butcher the shit out of this, Kaira, I hope I'm saying that right.
What's the name?
Right here. Scholar Kaira Bridges notes that critical race theory is not biologically real, but socially constructed and socially significant. So she is on board with it. But, here's the thing. They're teaching equity. And if you're familiar with what equity is, it's what you've had built up. But they're not equating equity to what someone has built from their hard work and success. They're equating equity to this person's going to come in, sit down, and have the exact same as somebody else, even if they didn't work for it. In other words, you're just allowed to get like in Monopoly, you get to skip a spot, right? You get to get a jail-free card. You do whatever you want. You get ahead of everybody.
You need
else.
to read this paragraph
even
right
if
there.
they're not on the same level as you are.
Yeah.
You get to skip ahead.
Excuse me. You need to read this. Read that out. No, read this paragraph right in one key.
Why don't you go ahead and take it?
One key tenement of critical race theory is the acknowledgement that racism is a normal feature of society and is embedded within systems and institutions like the legal system that replicate racial inequality. That this dismisses the idea that race incidents are aberrations, but instead are manifestations of structural systematic racism. In other words, everything is racist: the legal system, the justice system, everything. But colleges, everything. It's racism does exist, but this is just ridiculous.
Am I racist because I'm not drinking a different kind of beer? I mean, is that what it goes for now too? You know, it's actually funny is they actually do these articles all the time. Where if you look at any mainstream publication like Vogue or New York Times or something, and they have these opinion pieces where they actually talk about, based on the alcoholic beverage you choose to drink, could actually determine whether or not you have a certain view of race.
Are you serious?
It's an old article I read a long time ago. If someone out there knows what it is, please send it to us at the links listed down below. But
it got nothing to do with the taste?
I have no idea. It's like, well, if you don't want to drink Mexican beer, and I'm like, I just don't like the aftertaste of the beer. I have this, I like a hopsy, kind of more like a country fair kind of taste after the fact. That's just my preference. But again, preference isn't discriminatory. And
it's choice.
If it's like coming out, put it this way, I put the thing out there before last episode about a job interview. Well, imagine in school that you have kid A who's getting straight A's, right? And you have kid B who's getting like maybe C's or D's. We shouldn't be looking at the race of the kids. We should be asking maybe the kid has learning disability, right? Maybe they're not as smart as the other kid. Or maybe there's something going on at home that's affecting how they're doing in school. But it shouldn't be, well, Timmy's white and James is black and James is the one getting C's and D's. So because of race, we need to teach Timmy about how impactful his race is towards James.
Total bullshit. Ridiculous. There's something going on in James's life that maybe he's having bad stuff at home. Maybe he doesn't show up at school every day. Maybe he's not doing his homework. Maybe he doesn't pay attention. Maybe there's a learning disability. Maybe the class he's in isn't right for him. It's probably a combination of some of those, if not all of them.
So I'll read this here. The American Bar Association, the ABA, says that CRT is not diversity training, but a practice of interrogating. That says interrogating. Yeah, interrogating race and racism in society that emerged in legal academy and spread to the other fields of scholarship. So, when you go to become a cop, that's what it's saying, or you become an FBI agent, or you work for a lawyer, or you become a judge, anything in legal practice, there was such an embedded racism within that system of education that it spread to colleges and liberal arts degrees and other programs like that.
Yeah, but they're also saying that if you don't get anything you want in life, whether it's a car loan, a mortgage, the right job, the right college, it has to be because of race. It can't be because maybe your credit's bad, you haven't been at your job long enough to buy a house, you're not qualified for the job you have. This thing is just the racism does exist, and we as a country still have work to do. But this thing is, if you don't get everything, excuse for everybody now, especially minorities, something doesn't go right, doesn't matter what it is, it's racist. The first thing they come up
A
with.
lot of people rejecting it though, because there's the same people who go, "Well, I don't want to be told that because I'm a certain race I can't achieve something." When I think on how hard I worked to get it, and I didn't work as hard as somebody else, or maybe I worked just as hard, but the opportunity didn't present itself, which happens a lot. Think of it this way. How many people become top tier A-list actors when you have plenty of people who are way more talented at acting? It's dependent upon the work you get, how good that's perceived by people, right? There's no guarantee that, oh, I'm an incredible actor, I'm going to go to Hollywood, I'm going to start auditioning, I'm going to be successful. How many waitresses, waiters, and other people in the service industry do you know that are aspiring actors? Not everyone's going to make it. Does that mean that you can't have some level of success doing what you're passionate about? No. But that doesn't mean that you just get to go, well, it's because I'm black I'm not getting the same opportunities, or I'm not getting this or that. And it's like, you might get an equal opportunity which is based on, I don't know, whatever's available, but you can't just say, well, it's because of race and I'm not getting this. Because again, think of it this way. Harvard's discriminating against Asian students because they get such high test scores across the board that they have to limit the amount of Asians that go to
Excuse
school.
me.
Go ahead.
And that's wrong too.
It is.
Right?
Because it's supposed to be.
Excuse me. Discrimination is no. Let me is
Hold on, I
bait.
have to say this. You work hard enough. You're smarter. If you're capable enough, you're given that opportunity. Now, if they're at capacity, you go, hey, maybe open up another sector, put in more classes, more roster spots. You want more. You want more people there to be educated.
No, the Black Lives Matter people would say that the agents have ethnic privilege. No, they don't. They just work harder than you do, and they're more disciplined. That's why they're getting the opportunities you're not. Their grades are better because they applied themselves and they took it and they disciplined themselves more. But you can do the same thing.
I think it's family values, because the family values your education as your success. Because if the Asian kids in school I knew weren't getting straight A's or something, then they would get their phone taken away. They wouldn't be able to hang out with their friends. If they weren't focused on study, not all of them, but there was a good majority that were either you do well in school or you're going to have a restricted lifestyle outside of it. It's very much so built up from the family. And it's like saying, hey, if Black America was to take that same approach, well, here's what we need to actually talk about.
I have a question. Just a statement.
Go ahead.
Asians are the most successful ethnic group in the entire world. So if it's white, everything's white people's fault. How are you going to blame that white people? They're Asian. They're disciplined. They're disciplined like the Chinese.
They outperform us in this country on every statistic.
So do the Japanese because they're disciplined from a very young age.
Hey, by the way, we're not knocking you guys. We're congratulations.
Well, yeah, proud of you.
Seriously, good job.
You worked hard. You did it. You disciplined yourself. You worked hard. You put your nose to the grindstone. You did what it took. It's got nothing to do with the skin color. It's got to do with your attitude and the amount of effort that you're willing to make.
But I also think it comes down to Larry Elder is great about this, and several other people say the same thing. When you look at the fatherless home rate, it's increased year by year in the black community to the point where at some point it was 70% of kids born out of wedlock and a father not being in the home. And it's like, well, either the dad's in the home or he's raising the kid from a distance. But then you have the situations where the guy doesn't want to take any responsibility. He jets out on it. I got a friend who's raising two kids that aren't his own because the original dad, was a scumbag. And when I heard that, it made me angry because I'm like, how could you not support your kids? You're not even willing to pay child support, fine. But when you see these situations, when you look at Asian Americans in their home life, there's a dad in the home. And he's a strong figure. Every single fucking home in America that's Asian, for the most part, has a dad there. And they're structured so much from their parents and how they behave and everything that they end up being successful a lot of the time. And then you look at a lot of families and you say, well, they say, well, hey, you cannot have two parents and still be successful, fine. But if you look at the rates, you say, hey, the level of people who are successful usually come from a strong parent or a two-parent household. I'm just saying. And that influence which you put over to the kids is going to affect them more than anything. But yeah, I mean, I'm just making sure we're on.
You can move on.
Let's go ahead over to this one. This is hilarious.
Go ahead.
This is a mayoral candidate. I don't live in. Where was it?
Atlanta.
Atlanta Councilman and mayoral candidate Antonio Brown.
In Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia. So, this is a guy who has been calling for the police to be defunded, everything else, up the fucking ass. If you're,
From Atlanta.
for the most part, if you're a Democrat these days, that's the policy they want you to fucking shout from the rooftop, get rid of the cops.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think that it can be said that this is hilarious because, yeah, he got carjacked by 3 teenagers, okay, and he jumped on the hood and he got tracked out the street.
But the other way, it's called the police. It's not a good idea to.
No.
It's just a car. You have insurance. If you jump on a car hood, you could get seriously injured or killed. Call the police.
You want to go ahead and read it? Go ahead and take this one, man. It's funny.
I'm gonna. Antonio Brown said he was on Bourbania Street in the Dixie Hill community of Northwest Atlanta. He represents the city council there. He turned off his car, which had a keyless start, got out of the car, and had stopped to talk to a community leader named Ben. Just a few feet away from his white Mercedes Coupe.
It's a nice car.
The Brown told police he noticed 4 children, no more than 11 and 12 years old. The youngest boy, possibly 6 or 7, walking by a nearby store. You got to go up. I can't read it.
That's okay. I got you.
These are awfully young kids to be committing crimes, but we tried to go there and maybe try to get another kid out. Hold on. We try to go there. I don't know what he's talking about. Try to get a kid out of the car. So I'm like, what do you do to a kid, right? Said Ben. He'd already started figuring out. So apparently one of the kids that jumped in his car was talking to this guy. Tried to get him out of the car. One of the kids, it didn't work. He says the kids knew what they were going to do. One of the kids fought with Ben. Tried to get him out of the car. It didn't work. The other 3 kids are not in the car at this point. He started to hit the gas. Ben let go, and the kid took off.
I mean,
Ben said he tried to stop the car, but got dragged a short distance. Eventually let go after about a half a block.
he was determined to keep his
I mean,
Mercedes. I don't blame him. It's a nice car.
I mean, I'm sorry. The sense of...
Let's state the obvious. We don't want somebody's car to get stolen.
No.
And we don't want, by the way, they're kids. At 11 and 12 years old, they don't. I mean, they have a concept of right and wrong, but it's not developed. So
I don't think at 11 and 12 years old they have the concept to realize how serious
dangerous it is.
How dangerous and how serious of a crime it is to carjack someone. How much trouble you're going to get in for it. Ain't like stealing a fucking CD out of the store.
Because they're going for a joyride. It happens a lot.
Okay,
it happens
so...
a lot. But, you know, we don't have to keep reading because it's just...
Says, all right, keep...
fucking hilarious. If you want, go ahead.
Keep on going down.
Oh, my God. It's awesome.
All right, so the cops found us. He filed a report with the police. Mr. Brown did, and they found his car several hours later, but didn't say if they made any arrest. Mr. Brown said he didn't want to press charges. Now, let me ask you this, and I want to say something. Here's what's
Can we stop for a second and mention this? That the person he's trying to I forget the word for it, but secede is Keisha Lance Bottoms. Remember her?
I remember.
She was the person.
I know the name, but I don't know nothing. I can't remember why.
What's his name there? The guy who was in the parking lot, I think of like a Wendy's.
Oh,
Rayshard Brooks.
You know that Rayshard Brooks with the taser.
Yes, and she was the one who came out at first.
That you wanted to charge him with murder.
Right, and then she dropped it and said later on that we need to stop doing all the crime, and then magically now she's dropping out from being mayor because she can't take the pressure. And if I'm not mistaken,
that's right.
The police chief also stepped down in Atlanta because of this stuff.
You're right, 100% right in both. God. My point is this: so the guy, this was Antonio Brown. One of his focus, one of the points of his campaign is defund the police. When this happened, he went and made a complaint with the police. I guess apparently in person. So wait a second. Whether you make a complaint in person or you call them on the phone, you're still contacting the police. So he's a hypocrite. On one hand, he wants to defund the police department. The other hand, when his car gets stolen, the first thing he does is he goes to the cops. So, I mean, no, don't get me wrong.
I got a joke for you.
The right thing to do is go to the police, not jump on the hood. But he's a hypocrite.
Don't you think he was fucking screaming out for the police when he was getting dragged down the street?
Probably. Here's my point is, it's a sad what happened to them. They just young kids. I think it's to give them I don't think they should necessarily be in jail. They're 11, 12 years
Juvie?
old. There are a lot of ways they handle them without sticking them in jail.
They're not going to stick a
No.
7-year-old in jail.
No, but 11 to 12 years old, they don't even have to go. There are ways to take care of them without sticking them in jail. What I mean, there are ways to get through to them and get them to turn their lives around. They're so young. My point is this, though. Be careful why you need to go to the police. If he was to walk down the street and find some random guy and say, hey, my car just stolen, the guy's going to go, I don't give a fuck, and keep on walking. But that's what you pay the cops for. Situations like this. So if you take him away and someone steals your car, if you get up to go to work in the morning, your car's gone, who are you going to call? You going to go tell your neighbor about it? They don't care.
Yo, guys, and this...
He's a hypocrite. That's the whole point.
I mean, happy Memorial Day to everybody again. I just...
No, apparently, real quick, he's all right, and the young children stole it.
Good.
I don't know if they know how to drive at 11 and 12. Apparently, they haven't got them yet. Apparently, nobody got hurt. That's the good thing.
Well, the good news is that nobody got hurt, but
The bigger question
My
should be,
hope is-
why 11 and 12-year-old children out
No, no,
stealing cars, carjacking people?
well, no parental...
That's just...
My
it-
really poignant question is how the fuck did the 6 or 7-year-old get away from his mom and dad long enough in the middle of the city of Atlanta to go and steal a car? They didn't notice, like, get concerned. I mean, at 6 and 7, I wasn't fucking. Were you running around at 6 and 7?
No, not
fucking
like-
No. So that's
All right.
a little.
All right.
But my thing is, I hope that at least with this situation in mind and what happened, that this guy's waking up to the fact that maybe defunding the police is a bad idea, and maybe, like I've been saying for the longest time, how the military gets a spending budget and they use the shit out of it. I don't agree with everything they do. At least the people who get into service, which shout out to you guys, are trained properly. Now, is everything great about the military?
No.
No. You don't believe me on that? Go watch Angry Cops. It's fucking hilarious, and he talks a lot about how the military is kind of stupid in some sense, and that's mostly like the